Alright, YouTubers, this is the Turbine Doctor back with you after a long while. Last episode you saw my Troy built rebuild, and that's running good. And here's a old Homko tiller, H-O-M-K-O, Homko tiller, made by Western Tool and Stamping Company. Let's see how well that shows up. Model number, can't read that very well. Model number 1300. I'm sorry, it's a 50001. Whatever that means. My father-in-law had this tiller years and years ago, and he told me it's one of the first ones that ever came to the Eastern Shore here. I'm assuming that's the model. That first one that came here, I don't know if he's talking about the exact tiller, the first one that ever came here, but anyhow, I've had it sitting around for probably 18 years. Pedaled with it a little bit here, a little bit there, and still pedaling with it. I did replace the engine on it. I found a engine had one of these wind up cranking jobs on it. I like them. I saw one when I was a kid, been in love with them ever since. So I found an old engine, it was running, ended up having to swap the crankshaft out in it to get a little bit longer crankshaft from the original one, and it's running. The gas tank had a dent in it, which also had a little crack, so I repaired that, painted it just to keep it from rusting, and had it running. It actually runs good. The motor does. The tiller itself, the tires had seized up on it, so I got put some Kroll oil on them, got them freed up. The shifter arm here had seized up on it, so I put some Kroll oil on that and got that freed up and moving. The throttle cable had seized up, so we got that moving now. And I'll pull this motor off of here, let you see the bottom side of it. Let me put you on a tripod over here. Alright, here's the bottom side. Springs attached right here. These go through, and this whole thing slides back and forth. And here's the pulley for it right here. And the fiber disc is a big chunk taken out of it right there. And not being able to find any information at all on this, let alone parts, I had to make one of my own. So what I did, I'm going to set her back down, keep all the oil from running up into the piston there. So what I did was I took the pulley off of it. It's got a belt that goes down here, and the reverse disc goes here. There's a plate that goes through, bolts on there. And you can see the actual size. That hub right there was larger than this. It was that size right there, so you can see how much room, how much I had to cut off of it. But the cutter that I used for my Troy built is the exact same outside diameter, but the inside diameter was a little smaller. And I figured there was enough beef left on this for what it does, just to reverse. So what I did is I chucked that up in my lathe, and I turned that down to the proper size so this would fit on there. And I took my cutter here and punched out another set of discs right there, glued them together, and now I'm ready to drill the holes on there. That ought to show you kind of sort of how much difference there was in size. So in order to get those holes lined up just so, I took the other end of my cutter here, see if I can get that to stand up, and I turned that down. Just so happens that the outside diameter is perfect for the original disc, so I can put that on there. Oop. Then I turned it down, so a little pressure, and I only got one hand right now. I can, hold on, let me sit you down here. Let me see if I can get this on there right quick. Yep. Yep. Now my new disc sits on there, and that lines it up with the center, and that slides over here. So now my outsides are lined up, my center's lined up. I can mark my 3 holes where they are, and then attempt to drill those out. Now it is rubber, it's a harder rubber, so I might have a little trouble, but I have found that with this, if you drill a small hole and then come back with the right size end mill, that an end mill punch down through here does a pretty good job of drilling a perfectly round hole through there, as opposed to a twist drill which wants to leave it mangled up. So we're going to attempt that here in just a little while. But that's just a brief overview of where we are right now. Here you can see the springs I was telling you about. They go to the bolts underneath the housing, the slide that the motor sits on, and the pulley sits back here. There's a belt that goes around here on one side or the other. Can't remember top or bottom, we'll figure that out later. And then when you slide it the other way, your shifting lever moves that right there, and that slides this whole housing backwards and forwards. And either you tighten the belt to drive it forward, or you slide the reverse disc up into here to drive it backwards. So that's where we're at right now. I did check the gearbox down here. I put some oil in it, and sure enough it leaked. There's a lot of slop in there. So that's also on my list of getting that torn apart, see if I can find the proper seals or match something up to go in there, stop that oil leak. And I don't need this tiller for working. I have my Troy built. I have another Craftsman over there. This is just something I kind of want to get back going because of the historical value of it, and I'll probably take my time and paint it very good this time. Not like I did on the Troy built. I'll probably sand it down, prime it, sand that, paint it, sand it, paint it. I'll try to do a little bit better job. But this is going to take some time. Like I say, it's been sitting here for close to 18 years. So as you can see, I'm in no huge hurry for it. I do ask if anybody's watching this and you have any information or know where I can get information on a Homko tiller, H-O-M-K-O, and there is a decal that goes right here. It's made out of plastic. I took that off, and a friend of mine does casting with aluminum. I'm going to try to get him to cast me one out of aluminum. Put that back on. But it is made by Western Tool and Stamping Company. If any of you guys out there have any information as to the age of this, or any information where I can maybe find parts or get pictures of it to see what it's supposed to look like, drop me a comment and let me know, because I'd like to try to get it back close to original. That's why I'm trying to save the throttle cable and everything on it. So that's it for right now. I'm going to take this over to the shop and see if I can drill these holes out and get this put back together. Thanks for watching. Okay, over here in the shop now, and I found a long reach drill bit just the right size for them. and I'm going to attempt to drill, or at least start a hole with it. I got just a slight amount of pressure with the clamp holding this in place, and all I want to do is come down and just touch that rubber in there nice and easy. See if we can get a hole started. Here goes nothing. Alright, we got that one started. Lift this up and see. We can see what's happening in there. Yep, just a little bit of a hole started right there. Alright, I'll back off of this. So I'll have that back down. Get that hole line back up. And I don't know how I'm going to try to keep that in line while I do the next hole. And I think what I will do will be to go ahead and slide it over, take this out, and see if I can drill that all the way through. Okay, got everything lined back up, but my hole where I'm going to drill it is actually going to be into my vise right here, and I just measured this as a 1/2 inch. So what I'm doing is I got the tip of my drill bit even with the top of this, and I measured this. This is 500 thousandths. I got my DRO up here for my Z-axis. I've zeroed that out, so I'm going to go down about 450 thousandths if I can and stop there, and then I'll be able to put the disc back on and drop a bolt in. Hopefully that'll index that. So let's see how this works out. And just a slight amount of pressure on there. That's 450 thou. And it seems to be drilling pretty good. Let me get things moved around. We'll get you back over here. Alright, got my original disc put back on there. Bolt dropped in to hold it in place. Off of the vise. And that notch that's in the original one right here, I'm putting that towards the fixed jaw over there, and then snug back up on it. Just enough to hold that rubber in place. And we'll scoot back over. And we'll try to get this one lined up. I think we got it right there. Alright, we'll try to mark this one. Got that one marked, and I'll scoot her over here out of the way. And we'll take this bolt right here out, take this disc off. Clean that out. And scoot back over and see if we can finish drilling this one. Looks like she got it right there. Yeah, we'll come down about top there. Still zeroed. I'm going to engage my slow feed for this one. Alright. That's 450 on that one. Alright, I'm going to continue around, do the same thing for the last hole, and we'll get back with you.